All right, we're going to factor basic trinomials with a GCF. That's the greatest common factor. And as we do this, we're going to be focusing predominantly on quadratic. So in the first one, you're going to notice automatically that each one of these values is divisible by 3. And so I'm going to take that 3, I'm going to put it on the outside of a parentheses set, and I'm just going to work it through. 3 divided by 3 is y squared. Negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5y, and 18 divided by 3, which is simply 6. From here, we can use the area model if we want to, or depending on what your teacher has taught you before, we just say, hey, two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to negative 5. And it is the same format in the area model. We know that in the end, we need these two to add to a value of 5. So I'm going to write y times y because that's going to give me the y squared. And then I need this number and this number right there. This number and that number right there to give us a value of 6 when we multiply. So I'm going to simply make a list. 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and 4 times, and that's it. 1 and 6. 2 and 3. And what I'm going to look for is, can I get them to multiply to, add to a negative 5y. In order to do that, they have to multiply to a positive 6. So that means they could be both negative or both positive, but they have to add to a negative 5y. So that tells me that they're probably both negative. Negative 2y and negative 3y. So this gives me y minus 2 and y minus 3. And so now that I've got that factored, I would say 3 parentheses y minus 3 and y minus 2. Now, there's another way. We can take this and throw it right into Desmos. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to write 3x squared. We do have to put the x's in there because Desmos doesn't like it if we switch variables. I'm going to put minus 15x plus 18, minus 15x plus 18. And I'm going to look for the x-intercepts, which is 2 and 3. And I could just simply write, just based off of this information, that we have x minus 2, x minus 3. And the only thing I need to do is bring my a value right out in front because it's not showing up in the binomials. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more just to clarify, hopefully to help you out. If you don't need it, go ahead and skip on. Okay, we have 5m squared minus 10m minus 40. You'll notice that both of them are, all three of those are divisible by 5. So let's go ahead and divide everything out by 5. Okay, we'll put 5 parentheses m squared minus 2m, and negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. At this point, we go back to our area model or the method two numbers that multiply to the end and add to the middle, which is the exact same method. Okay, and we put here, and I'm going to make a list. I have m times m, which is going to give me that m squared. I'm going to make a list that multiplies to negative 8, which is essentially 1 and 8, 2 and 4, and one of them has to be negative. Okay, I'm going to put negative 2m here. And the reason why I'm going to put that negative 2m there is because I know these two right here have to add to negative 2. Well, I know that 1 and 8, even if I put on negative on any one of those, I am not going to get a negative 2. But if I put a 2 and a 4 together and I make that 4 a negative, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So I just write 2m and negative 4m. Now, at this point, I just take out those. I take out that greatest common factor from the column, negative 4 and negative 8. I divide by, so it's a negative 4. And then from 2 and negative 8, I just take out a 2, okay? And I have m minus 4 and m plus 2. So I'm going to write 5, m minus 4 and m plus 2, and they are fully factored. Now, just as a reminder, let's go back to Desmos. Let's make our lives easy and let's type in the original equation, 5m squared minus 10m minus 40. So 5x squared minus 10x minus 40. Okay, let's make sure that's correct. Boom, it is. Okay, and At this point, we just look for the x-intercepts. Let's look for the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts are 4 and -2. So I come over here and I write x plus 2. Remember, we use the opposite. This was 4, so I write x minus 4 using the opposite. We do have an a value right in front, which is 5. So we can factor it by hand and we can factor it by Desmos. Factoring's a good old time when you got a greatest common factor in there.